Good morning and welcome to the 10 a.m. daily weather brief. We continue to have quite an active weekend ahead of us as confidence in a major winter storm continues to hold strong as the previous days. And although the snow totals have definitely dropped by a good margin in comparison to some numbers that were being thrown around a few days ago, the chances that we do see some accumulating snow here on the shore does remain high. And to start, we'll look at tomorrow and see how things kind of come together day by day, and then we'll work our way through the weekend and into what will become a less erratic weather week next week. So starting on the left-hand side here, these images show that an Arctic high is going to build over the central U.S., and that is going to bring in a bunch of cold air Friday night, and that is going to lock it in place ahead of what we will see to be a surge of moisture, and that's going to set everything up for this winter storm this weekend. Then looking to the right-hand side here on Saturday, we'll see that temperatures are going to continue to remain quite cold as that high stays in place and builds in even further east. Temperatures will likely only climb into the mid-20s, and then we'll see moisture start moving into the region and a low pressure system that is going to, or low that will start to develop off of the North Carolina coast, or move off the North Carolina coast. That low there and its exact track is where most of the uncertainty comes at this point, and the positioning of that low is what is going to drive the mix of precipitation that will include rain, snow, sleet, freezing rain across much of the mid-Atlantic especially on Sunday. However, locally, we do expect snow to be the primary precip type on the onset of the storm as early as Saturday night, and then we'll see the potential for a transition period during the morning hours of Sunday, and we may even see some sleet mix in at that time. And then for the immediate Wallops area, that transition is likely to become all rain by later on in the afternoon. And the current projections as of now do suggest snow accumulations in the range of 3 to 6 inches for Wallops before we see that full transition to rain get underway. And with that being said, the trend has been moving the system a bit further north. That trend has slowed ever so slightly, but it's certainly possible that in the coming hours of today, we do see those local totals come down ever so slightly. Now, as we move to close out Sunday and move into Monday, the rain chances do look to continue, and we might see even a slight chance of seeing a light snow shower on the very back end of the storm, depending on how strong that low gets, and as that system pulls away, which will also make room for what will be high pressure building in behind, and that is going to set us up for next week, in which we keep those cooler temperatures in place, but we also see rain and snow chances suppressed as we move into the early portions of next week. Now, just for comparison here and to show kind of how this system is going to transition from the onset into the final stages of rain, here all the models show that at least at the very beginning we will see snow, especially some heavier times of which that snow will be falling. But if we move over to the next slide here, we can see, depending on where that low kind of sets up, we do see rain mix into the system and kind of close out the event. And the Euro here up in the top left, that low is basically moving directly over the peninsula, and as a result, we see those rain totals much higher, where the GFS on the top right and the GFS ensemble bottom left, those are a bit more bullish on keeping the colder air in and not having as much warm moisture move in from the south. So as a result, those models are projecting higher snow totals. And then the Canadian is also on the camp of bringing the low a bit closer into the shore. So that's really what we're keeping an eye on, as to the exact location of that low as it passes by. But we do expect in almost every scenario that rain moves in at the very end. And that will bring us on to our 24-hour forecast for the day ahead. We had some broken cloud conditions earlier, and those clouds have since pushed offshore, and we have just a few clouds mixing in here and there expected for the remainder of the working hours and day today. We'll see clearing skies briefly overnight, and then some light cloud cover in the form of upper level clouds moving in early tomorrow. For temperatures today, they are quite warm for this time of the year and expected to climb into the mid-50s, and then for the overnight low, drop down to around freezing. Our winds, especially earlier today or early in the day, slightly elevated. A little bit of color for the chance of a wind advisory if a stray gust were to come through. However, in general, sustained winds do look to remain rather unimpactful, and throughout the day those winds should be on the decline before turning more so light and variable in the overnight hours as we move into tomorrow morning. For the short-term risk chart, on Friday we can anticipate partly to mostly cloudy conditions and a high around 48 degrees and greens across the board. Friday night mostly cloudy and breezy and a low in the teens, with some color on the board for a good chance of a wind advisory. And then Saturday mostly cloudy and slightly breezy, especially if those winds from Friday night hang around and linger. We'll also see a high coming in around 25. And that will bring us to the 7-day outlook for the week ahead. Expecting to see a good amount of sunshine today, clouds slowly and surely building in Friday before we see cloudy conditions Saturday with the coolest day of the week ahead. We'll also see Saturday night that system arrive and see our chances for snow become getting introduced into the forecast. Sunday morning, snow that transitions likely into rain, and then the chance of rain lingering into Monday, and depending on the timing, that might end up being some snow showers. But overall, we close out the week with clearing skies and cool temperatures, with Saturday into early Monday being the main focus of the next 7 days, with that winter storm passing through. Now that is going to conclude the 7-day outlook. Hope everyone has a great day. We'll be back tomorrow with the daily weather operations brief.